Alright guys, so welcome to this online presentation of how to look, feel and perform better. So my name's Kieran, I'm the head coach of the Fundamental Body, and the way we're going to break this training video is into three sections. We're going to look at how training and nutrition and recovery all play together and affect how you look and how you feel and perform. So it's important to understand that you can't have one of these without the other if you're looking for optimal results. The training process actually involves breaking down your muscles, okay, so it causes tiny micro tears in those muscles and actually is breaking them down. So what you do in training isn't necessarily a good thing unless the other two things are in check. The first of the two is nutrition. This is going to provide the building blocks and the energy for you to sustain that training level. And then all the magic happens then when you recover well. Recovery is going to include a few different things where we'll get into in detail, but the recovery process is where you use the energy and building blocks that you've taken in from your food and you use that to recover and repair the tiny micro tears that you've caused in training. So it's important to note that you can't have one without the other. If you're missing one of these three, so let's say your training is good, your nutrition is good, but your recovery is really poor, you're going to get poor results. And the same goes if you interchange any of them. So if you're not eating right, if your nutrition is bad, but you're training good and you're recovering well, you're not going to get them optimal results. And then finally, if your nutrition is good, your recovery is good, that's good, but you mightn't necessarily build any muscle or start to actually look athletic or get any stronger. Okay, so the majority of guys will put a lot of their focus into training and kind of forget about the other two, right, which are just as equally important, especially the last one, recovery. Right, so the first one that we're going to dig into is the training side of things. Going to look at like what type of exercise you should be doing, what type of stuff you're doing that you're probably wasting your time on, how much of it that you should be doing. So basically we're just going to clear up all the confusion, tell you exactly what you need to be doing during the week, over the months to actually get results so that you do look like Mr. Wolverine here. So some of the biggest mistakes that I see lads making in the gym, okay, there is a few. You mightn't be guilty of all of them, but here's just the main ones that we have or that I see. The first one is not using the big compound lifts, right? A compound lift is when you use an exercise that trains multiple muscles at once and a few joints at once as well. So these are your exercises like squats, like overhead pressing, deadlifting, bent over rows, and all the other variations of them type of exercises. Alright, so basically what I'm saying is that guys especially will spend too much time training exercises that are isolation exercises. So these are things like biceps curl and tricep kickbacks and leg presses and hamstring curls and things like this. Okay, only working one muscle at a time. This is it's really inefficient time-wise, first of all. And when it comes to getting stronger and to building a little bit more lean mass and to looking better, again, the compound lifts outperform any of that isolation stuff. The next mistake is that for the guys that are actually doing the compound lifts is not getting any stronger on them. Okay, so you need to be adding weight onto the bar. If not week to week, you definitely need to be seeing some sort of improvement every month. So if you're lifting 50 kilos for a squat this week, in a month's time you might want to be aiming for 55, 60 kilos with the same reps and the same sets. Okay, so you need to be seeing an increase. If you do the same weights all the time, well then you're not going to demand your body to change, so it's going to stay the same. So your body gets used to the weight you lift and then it will maintain that. If you want to push on, get better results, you've got to increase the load and get physically stronger. The next one we got is probably the most obvious one, is bad technique. Most guys will just pick up stuff on YouTube or magazines or anywhere on the internet. Okay, that's good, it gives you an idea, but a lot of the time you actually don't have a clue what you're doing. And the amount of time I see people doing weird things and cringy things in the gym is pretty much unspeakable. Okay, so go learn from someone that knows what they're doing to teach you how to use these compound lifts. You would probably be surprised how much goes in to a good squat and a good deadlift and a good bench press. Okay, the next mistake is using machines too much. Machines are pretty much a waste of time. Okay, I'm not going to get into the reason of why machines are even there in the first place, but let's just say if you really want to get results, you need to be using free weights. Free weights are going to be your barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, body weights. Machines are going to do all the stabilization work that your muscles need to do. And again, they're going to be mainly training isolation exercises in machines. So stay away from machines, stick to the barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells. And then the last mistake is just not following a well-designed program, okay? So this kind of links in with not getting stronger on the compound lifts and not even using the big compound lifts in the first place. You need to be following some sort of program instead of just going into the gym and not even knowing what you're going to do on that day, okay? That's when you have really bad training sessions. That's when you're wasting your time into the gym. That's when you go in for half an hour, you mess around, you talk to your mates for 10 minutes, you watch telly for 5 minutes, you walk over to the fountain, you do a few curls, you do a few bench presses, and then you hit the sauna and jacuzzi and you think that's you done. Okay? That's because you don't actually have a plan that you're going in the first place and understand what you need to work to get stronger and to look better. So let's look at the movements that you should be doing. Okay, first of all, you've got to realize that you've got to train your body in movements and not body parts. So instead of thinking I gotta train chest and back and abs and calves, let's think of the movements that your body does, okay? This is what your body is designed to do. It squats, it hinges, it pushes, it pulls, and it carries things. Okay, and these are the movements that you should be building in over your week in towards training. If you're covering all these, you're on the right track. So let's take a look at them in a little bit more detail. So you definitely want to be including a squat or a knee dominance type of exercise in your program. These are things like back squats, front squats, split squats, reverse lunges, step ups, and safety bar squats. Okay, so this is generally going to train your whole body with emphasis on your legs. A lot of lads won't actually train their legs and they'll end up with this little weird Johnny Bravo style look where they got really skinny legs and a top heavy over body. Squats are so good for getting strong and looking good. So make sure that you're squatting. It'll also really help with injury proofing yourself, especially the ones that you do with one leg. The hip dominant exercises, these are things like your deadlift, your good mornings, hip thrusts, kettlebell swings, Romanian deadlifts, cable pull throughs, and again some single leg hip dominant moves like single leg loop bridges. Really good for building up the posterior chain. That's basically the back of your neck, on your back, all the way down the back of your legs. Okay, so some people call the deadlift the king of exercises because it pretty much works every single muscle in your body. That picture that you're seeing in front of you, that's a deadlift. That's a big compound lift. There's pretty much no muscle in this guy's body that isn't working right now to pull that weight up from A to B. And it's really important as well that this guy has got good technique or he will hurt himself. The next body movement or big compound lifts that you want to be doing are the pushes. So all guys love doing their pushes. Vertical pushes and horizontal pushes. Vertical push exercises, such things like push press, military press, Arnie press, right? Everything that goes over your head basically. Horizontal presses, like Johnny that's doing in the picture below here. He's doing his bench press, push-ups, dumbbell floor presses. Okay, these are all things that you're pushing straight out in front of you. After your pushes, the next body movement we have is the pulls. Really good for building up your back, which is so important. So for vertical pull exercises, we have things like pull-ups, chin-ups, lat pull-downs, okay, pulling the weight down towards your chest. For the horizontal pulls, these are weights that we're pulling in towards the chest, and they could be inclusive of bent over rows, Yates's rows, dumbbell rows. Okay, there's loads of variations of all these that I'm after going through. All you do is have to go on Google, type in a vertical pull exercise. Just before we move on to the last one of loaded carries, you guys, right, and especially guys that are so guilty of this, is training too much of the push movements and not enough of the pull movements. And this is going to cause a really bad rounded shoulder posture, okay? And it's going to start jutting your head out as well a little bit. And you'll be walking like the Michelin Man with your shoulders rounded forward, and you'll even reduce your height. So just an important note before we move on from the pushes and the pulls, you need to know that for every push you do, you should be doing about 2 pulls. And at the very, very least, you do 1 push to 1 pull. And that's going to give you really good shoulder health. It's going to pull your shoulders back. It's actually going to make you look like you're bigger, your shoulders are bigger, and your chest is bigger. And you're going to end up with a bigger push if you do more pulls. Okay, so don't neglect the pull side of things and train your back, train the back of your shoulders. And the last movement we got is the loaded carries or training your core. Okay, loaded carries are carrying an object for a certain distance. There's loads of different types of these, like farmer's walks, heartbeat walks, wader walks, pig walks, like the guy in the picture here. Just carry something for a distance really, really works every single muscle in your body. There's nothing that's not under tension at this moment when you're doing these. And then core exercises, probably again obvious to you, these ones. These are like your planks, your dead bugs, hanging knee raises. Okay, crunches are not the best thing to go about. You want to be doing more functional things. Your functional, I mean that your abs are designed to stay straight and to stay stable, to keep you upright. They're not designed to bend back and forward, which is what crunches do. So what I've done for you guys is I've designed a training program template that you can follow 3 to 4 times a week. It's going to get you awesome results, and it's going to train all your body movements. So here's the first workout. It's going to last 45-60 minutes long, and you're going to set it up like this. First movement of the day is going to be a squat or knee dominant exercise. So go back to the previous slides, see what that is. Or if you want to do a different one, just go onto Google, type in squat variation or knee dominant variation exercise, and you'll find something. Once we do a few sets of them, say 4 or 5 sets of them, we're going to go on to the B's. The B's are going to be your pushes and your pulls, so your upper body. Do the B1s and the B2s very close together. So these are going to be your superset. So you're only going to leave about 30 seconds between each of these exercises. So you'll do your pushes, then go to your pulls. Take a break. Go to your pushes, go to your pulls, take a break. So do it like that. Do again 3 or 4 sets of each, and then move on to the next one. Next one is your C, is your loaded carry or your core training exercise. So again, just flick back to the previous slide, see what you can do, vary it up each time you go into the gym. And then the last one is, it's definitely optional. You don't have to do it, but it's really good for improving your fitness and for improving your body composition. And you have 2 choices. You could either do a HIIT session, so that's your high intensity interval training session, so that's something like really short, really sharp, and it's going to last less than 15 minutes. So these are things, for example, like doing something really quick for 20 seconds, then taking like a 40-second break, and that's your minute, and then just repeat that for whatever 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, depends on your fitness level, how long you can go for. Or if you wanted to, if you're a little bit unfitter and you find that the HIIT sessions are going to be too difficult, or you didn't know what you're doing, you could just do some of the low intensity steady state cardio. Okay, so you can mix it up, do 5 minutes on the bike, 5 minutes on the row machine, 5 minutes on the treadmill, and just keep cycling around like that for say 30 to 45 minutes, keeping the pace really, really easy, like 4 or 5 out of 10 easy. Okay, so again, it just depends what you like, what your goals are, or you can mix them up even if you prefer. And then your next day when you go into the gym, you're going to set up your workout like this. So again, this will take you 45-60 minutes long. You're going to come in, going to do a hinge or a hip dominant move for your first one. You'll then move on to B1 and B2, which you know have to be done one after the other. This time we're going to push vertical and pull vertical. Same kind of idea as the last day. Before we move on to C, different loaded carry, different core exercise. And then this day, on your second day, you can do maybe some bodybuilding exercises where you can hit your arms, hit your shoulders, do some flies for your chest, or whatever is your, say, problem area or the area that you want to work on the most. Okay, so if you cycle in between them 2 days, 3 to 4 days a week, so you're looking at something like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever way you want to do it. Ideally take a couple of days off or have one day off in between each one, and yeah, you're pretty much going to be covering everything that needs to be covered when you're training. So hopefully that gives you some sort of a plan, that you're not just walking into the gym having a clue what you're at. So set it up for yourself, maybe keep it the same for a month, keep all the exercises similar, and then change it the month after. So the next section, once we got a training covered, you know what you're doing, you're covering all the basics, let's take a look at the nutrition. Okay, nutrition is going to be as easy as you want to make it. Okay, it's quite simple. And a lot of the time guys get bogged down with different questions about timing and how much grams of what to eat and stuff like that. Okay, you can make it as difficult as you want. If you just want to look good, feel good, maybe build a little bit of muscle mass, get a little bit stronger, you just want to eat real food. What I mean by real food is stuff that comes from the land and that's very minimally processed. So if you eat like this 3 times a day, you will get awesome results. So put out your hand in front of you. What you are looking at right now is the palm of your hands. That's going to be your protein size. Okay, so 2 palms of protein per meal 3 times a day. That's going to be inclusive of your lean steak and red meat, turkey, fish, egg whites, chicken, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt. Okay, you can include protein supplements in there as well. 1 scoop of protein will be equal to 1 palm of protein. Then what you're going to add to your meal is 2 tums of healthy fats. Your healthy fats are going to be inclusive of nuts, avocados, olive oils, seeds, coconut oils, things like that. Cook with them or put them onto your plate after you're finished. Then we're going to add in some healthy carbohydrates. Okay, carbohydrates are the training fuel. If you are training hard, like I was showing you earlier, you're definitely going to want to eat your carbohydrates. Do not go too low on these. Big mistake. So your carbohydrates, try and choose from the healthy sources: berries, fruits, oats, rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes. If you've got questions like which is better, brown rice, white rice, gluten-free oats, non-gluten-free oats, okay, these are questions that if you don't already got the basics in place, you don't really need to be asking these questions. I'm not saying that it's an invalid question. It's just get the basics right and the magic will happen. If you want to go a little bit more in detail, well then shoot me a message about something and I can help you out. Is eating your vegetables, okay? So really good for nutrients, really good for keeping you full, keeping hunger at bay. So okay, this one's pretty easy. Add in some leafy greens, add in many colours of vegetables as you want, the more the better. Beetroot, cauliflowers, carrots, legumes, spinach, lettuce. Okay, so pretty simple guys. 3 times a day, 2 cup handfuls of veg, or 2 fistfuls of veg, 2 cup handfuls of carbohydrates, 2 tums of healthy fats, and 2 pounds of protein, 3 times a day. Pretty easy. Get that right the majority of the time. Don't go too mental on the weekends, and you're going to see a pretty dramatic change in your body composition and your strength. And the last part on the nutrition section, we're just going to talk about supplements. Okay, supplements get way too much attention for what they're worth. What I mean is that you will get everything you need from nutrition. You would never actually have to take a supplement to see good results. Right? Supplements are for selling you the dream. If you're not doing the right training and you're not eating the right stuff, it doesn't matter what you're taking. Supplements are going to do just that. They're going to supplement, or they should supplement, an already good diet. The only supplements I would recommend you getting is maybe a protein powder, if you find it hard to include them palms of protein a day. So you need 6 a day. So if you don't get them or you're busy or anything like that, it's just handy sometimes to have that available, but you don't need to overdose on the stuff. Creatine is really good for strength and for size. It's got a few other good effects in there. You want to be shooting for about 5 to 10 grams a day. Then you have ZMA. This is zinc and magnesium. It's just a really good way of promoting a really deep and restful sleep. But again, this would be probably, out of the 4 of them, it'd probably be the one I'd least recommend. And the last one, fish oil. Really good. So many health benefits. Good for your brain, cognitive function. And there's a whole host of other things as well. I'm not telling you to go out and get these supplements. I'm just saying if you were to take supplements outside of this bracket, it's going to make pretty much no difference. At least these will do something. As far as what types of protein, what types of creatine, where do I get it, all these kind of questions. Look, they're pretty much going to do the same thing. So I just get mine off bulk powders, or I'll go onto myprotein.ie and you'll get some really cheap stuff, but of pretty good quality. Okay, so again, don't get too bogged down about this stuff because it's not what makes the difference. And the last part of the puzzle, after training, after nutrition, we've got the recovery. The harder your training is, the better your nutrition and the better your recovery has to be. Okay, this is where the magic happens. And recovery, I'm mainly talking about sleep, but there are other forms that promote recovery, such as foam rolling, doing some of that cardio I mentioned earlier, the low intensity steady state. Okay, so basically just move your body during gym sessions. So don't just sit and do nothing on your days off. Go for a walk, go for a swim, get up and actually move yourself. Combine this with maybe a little bit of stretching and a little bit of foam rolling, and it's going to be really good for healing your body so you can train harder the next day. And that's what recovery is all about. It enables you to train harder. That's why it's quite difficult if you try and go to the gym 3 days in a row, and you'll find that each day is progressively getting harder and you're going to have a worse training session as the days go on. So you need recovery. Recovery is going to include eating properly. It's going to include switching off, okay, so taking a little bit of downtime for yourself, doing things that you enjoy doing, de-stress. And all this is going to do as well is increase your testosterone levels, optimize hormones, which is going to put you in like whatever zone that is, muscle building or fat burning or basic body composition. Okay, so make sure you hit this nail on the head really, really good. And the mother of all, when it comes to recovery, is your sleep. Okay, you got to be getting sleep. If you do not get some sleep, there's going to be a few things that are going to happen. The main one being is the dysregulation on hormones, ghrelin and leptin. Both of these are basically responsible for telling you how hungry you are and telling you how much body fat to store. So if your goal is to have a better, leaner body, you need to sleep. Lack of sleep is also going to impair your choices when it comes to decision time when you get home from work and you ask yourself, well, should I or will I go to the gym? Feeling a little bit tired because you only slept 5 hours last night. You're not going to go. Same thing when it comes to making a healthy meal. You're just going to go for something quick when you're tired. So get your sleep. How much is enough? At the minimum 7 hours. But that's not the case for most people. Some people function better on 8. Some people function better on 9. So find out what you work best optimally off and shoot for that every single night. Because it's during sleep where you build them muscles back up that you've broken down during training. So if you remember back to the start of the video, when I said training is where you break down your muscles, nutrition provides the blocks and the energy for training, for your muscles. But then all the magic happens then when you go to sleep and you use the building blocks to fix those muscles. So there's no point in you hammering training 5, 6, 7 days a week and then going out on the lash Friday, Saturday, Sunday and getting so little sleep during the week as well. Okay, you're going to do yourself a disservice and you're just going to get so poor results. This is a really cool picture I came across the other day and I thought it just illustrated the point real well of how sleep, nutrition and training all kind of fit in together. So this bucket here in the middle full of water, this is your body. The goal is to keep this bucket full. When that bucket is at its fullest, or the higher it is to being full, your performance is good. Your awareness is good, your energy levels are good. The chances of injury and getting sick are quite low. So let's take a look at what fills the bucket up. Sleep, nutrition and proper recovery. What empties the bucket? Training, work or school or college, and just stress. Okay, these are the things that empty the bucket, that drain your body. So remember the importance, or I hope this illustrates the importance of nutrition and proper recovery as well. So what can you expect then if you get training and you get the nutrition and the recovery part all aligned, and you're doing really good, and you're doing this well for about 80% of the time. Okay, you never have to be 100% good at all this stuff. Shoot for really good instead of perfect. What can you expect? This is a picture of guys at various body fat percentages. If you do not know what your body fat percentage is, I will send you on a body fat calculator after this video is finished to give you an idea of where you are and maybe where you want to go. So lean, toned and athletic for guys will be somewhere in the range of 10 to 15% body fat, which is the top two pictures in your right hand side. Okay, so you'll start to see your abs at this stage once you kind of come under 15%, and you'll look a little bit more defined. So if that is your goal, that you want to look a little bit more leaner and defined, well then you know at least now that you kind of want to be working towards this body fat percentage. How long before you see the results? Okay, well obviously it depends where you start. Everyone is individualistic as well, so if you get two people that are the exact same weight with the same body fat percentage, doing the exact same training program, sleeping the same, eating the same things, you're going to see different results. Okay, and that's for a whole host of different reasons that we're not going to get into right now. But on average, you're going to lose, the guys will lose about 0.5% to 0.7% of body fat per week. Okay, so what does that mean then? It means that you can set a realistic time frame of when you're actually going to get to your desired body fat percentage. So we know that guys are going to look lean at 15%. So let's say you're currently 25% body fat, which would look somewhere in this, on the bottom row. It's the second picture in from the right. Okay, so let's say that's you right now, and you wanted to get to the 15% mark. Well, if we take the slowest rate of progress at 0.5% of body fat per week of a drop, it's going to take you approximately 20 weeks to get there. Okay, plus or minus 4 or 5 weeks either direction. Okay, so at least that just gives you some idea of how long it actually takes. So the next time you think you hit the gym for 2 or 3 weeks and you stop and you're wondering why you're getting frustrated, it's because you haven't been consistent and actually put in the time and effort with the training, nutrition and recovery that's actually required to get to them body fat percentage levels. And once you get there, it's really good because it's quite easy to stay lean when you are lean. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. And if you do have any other questions that maybe I didn't cover, or you'd like something answered in more detail, please just hit me up on Facebook, give me a call, or shoot me an email. Thank you.